Hello everyone, it's finally time. The nerfs are here. So let's see what they did with Undeads. Starting off with hero armor changes. The following heroes have less armor. Onyxia and Sneed are now armor tier 2. Damn, that's sick. I think those heroes used to have a lot of armor. At least I played Onyxia with 7 armor quite a bit. So nerfing 2 tiers. That seems pretty heavy. Cause like Onyxia was really good, but 5 armor? I don't know if I'll play it. And Sneed also getting nerfed. Honestly, I've not played Sneed and I haven't played against it too much. But I lost to it once because the guy kept putting hero powers onto the Blanchi, and that's actually extremely toxic. Because you can hero power the Blanchi a bunch, and then like it does the thing twice. Like it's super toxic. But yeah. Other than that, I don't think Sneed was that good of a hero, but who knows. And then the following heroes have more armor. Pyramid is now armor tier 3, so +1 armor on average for Pyramid. Whatever, like the hero power is just not good anymore. Although I'll pick it over other unplayable heroes, I guess, because there's more armor. And then Sylvanas also gets more armor. Sure, the Sylvanas hero power unfortunately doesn't matter too much right now. The meta is just too fast. Any stat-based hero power is just not good at competitive level. Now card changes. Oh boy, here it is, our boy. The Thorn Captain actually got buffed. It now has 2 health instead of 1. So this card is now playable if you are playing any kind of tier 1 hero like Rafam, Berov, Maiev, even Scabs, Putricide, not Putricide, Scabs, Rat King, all these type of heroes that stay on tier 1 and also always get cards in their hand. This card is gonna be good for them. It's still not amazing because even once you make it golden, there isn't a single comp in which you will run this forever. Like, you wouldn't run this in your pure Quillborg comp, but maybe you'll run it in a Dark Ace comp? Who knows? Well, anyway, it's just nice quality of life improvement. It's now a really solid tempo 1 drop. Before it was just always useless pretty much. Eternal Night got changed. I want to talk about the Undead nerfs later all together, so let's skip this one for now. Skip this one as well. Puffer Quill. It now has +2 health. This card didn't see a lot of plays, mainly because of how dominant Undeads were, and against Undead, Poison doesn't really do much. That's why also other cards like Mantid Queen and Toxfin and Leroy didn't see a lot of plays in this meta. But, it's a better card now, whatever. I'm fine with this change. Rip's Nari Captain. Whenever another friendly pirate attacks, it gives +3/+3 now. Honestly, I would rather see in this card being reworked, because this is a very toxic effect. Like, basically this card is only gonna be good when you have a really specific board state, which is like double Southsea Captain with other pirates. Like, that's the only time in which you're gonna buy this card. Same thing as before. And once you buy this, you are gonna have a super toxic board state in which none of your minions is gonna die and you're gonna deal 15 damage to your opponent. So I don't like the design of this card, and sure, they made it a little better, but that doesn't change anything. You still buy the card in the same scenario, it still does the same thing. And the worst part is that after a couple of turns, this card is gonna be irrelevant because all your pirates are just gonna be too small and your opponents will just outscale you. And then you will be the one taking 15 damage, so I don't like the design. I feel like this card is just bad design for the game. Master of Realities changes to elementals, and that's important because I'd say that elementals are the tribe that's overperforming the most in this patch. Yes, I think elementals shouldn't be as good as they are right now, but it's a buff. It went from tier 5 to tier 4 and it's now 4-4. Keep in mind, this card started as a tier 6. Although it didn't stay on tier 6 for long because it was complete garbage and they moved it to tier 5 really quickly. But it's now a 4-drop. So initially they intended for this to be an effect on a tier 6 card and it's now on tier 4. That's kinda concerning. So we'll see how this develops. Kind of a questionable change. I will try to abuse this card as much as I can. This is an undead change. Okay, this is the other change. Magma Lock from tier 4 to tier 5, and they gave it +2/+2 because a 1/1 with this effect on 5 will feel really bad. Once again, like Magma Lock, I think showcase some of the flows with dual tribe minion, because I will say that Magma Lock as it was an amazing 4-drop for Murlocs, because it gave Murlocs the extra push they needed in the mid game so that they could level and actually get to the Bran, the Seafood Slingers and all this kind of stuff. But now it's a 5-drop. So once again, Murlocs don't have any mid game. And then it was too strong for Elementals, because Elementals had just way too much synergy already on tier 4. And then it kept snowballing on 5 with Master of Realities. So I will say that this deserves to be a 5-drop if Elementals are also in the lobby. But if we are just talking about Murlocs, this was perfectly fine as a 4-drop. So all in all, this is a big nerf to Murlocs and a small nerf to Elementals, I will say. The card is still fine. I'm okay with it, even as a 5-drop. But I'm a little upset for my boys Murlocs, my green guys. Oh, another change. Vanessa. It now gives +2/+2 to all of your pirates whenever it attacks. So, once again, Vanessa, it's a really strong card. Like, if this card was in another tribe, it would be way better. But since pirates are not really a cohesive tribe, it doesn't see a lot of plays. I'd say that this is a reasonable buff, and the card is just not gonna be crazy because pirates are not that crazy outside of Ogar. But I'd say it's a nice change, I like it. Cyber Drake used to give +10 attack to your Divine Shields, now it gives only +8. Minor change. I'd say it's fair, even though Cyber Drake didn't see too much plays, because once again, Undeads are kinda good against Divine Shields. The effect was just way too strong. So now the card looks more reasonable. Blanchi from a 4-4 to a 3-3. Let's move on. Toxpin. It used to be on tier 6, it's now a tier 5. I'm okay with this. I think Toxpin on tier 6 doesn't make sense, and it feels always really bad when you triple into it. Greasebot changed as well, so they nerfed the Cyber Drake, but they're buffing Divine Shields with the Greasebot. Now it gives +3/+2 instead of +2/+2. I like this. Like, I wish they made it the way it is right now, since the first nerf when they removed Divine Shield. Better late than never, I suppose. Good change. I think Greasebot is reasonable against Undead. It's also good against Poison. It's just bad against tribe that go really huge. I think Greasebot is gonna be in a good spot now. Spell Stomper changed as well. It used to give +3 attack to all of your minions after you summon a minion in combat. It now gives +2, but they also gave it +1 health. It used to be a 3-7, it's now a 3-8. Honestly, this might even be a buff. Like, obviously, once you reach the very end of the game, it's gonna be a nerf, because at that point, the attack difference might matter. But early on, this is gonna be slightly harder to get sniped, which is nice. I like the change on this one. It was a bit too strong with +3 attack, probably. And that's it. Now we have the undead changes. So let's start with the main one. Eternal Summoner used to be the main corporate of the best comp in the game. The new one is 6-1, Reborn, Death Rattle summon 1 Eternal Knight. It's actually a buff, right? That's what it looks like. As a standalone, this card is better than it used to be. Because before it was just an 8-1 with 2 knights, now it's a 6-1 with 1 knight, plus another 6-1, plus another knight. Also the golden version is arguably better, like before you will never triple this card, but now it's good to triple it, because it becomes like basically the old version with default Reborn. Dev comments, if Eternal Summoner is picked as a first pick from Professor Putricide 0 power, you can no longer be offered Reborn or Poisonous Minion as a second option. Before, the best minion you could get with Putricide on tier 6 was Eternal Summoner plus Colossus of the Moon, which will give it Divine Shield and Reborn. Now that's no longer an option, because since Eternal Summoner is already Reborn, you can't be offered another Reborn minion to pair with it. Also, you can't get offered Poisonous. This is because it has Reborn, and historically, Poisonous Reborn in the same minion has been a problematic combo for the game. So it's good that they saw this coming and didn't make it possible. So Putricide got nerfed. I will say this is a nerf overall though. Now Sister Death Whisper, which was, I will say, the third best win condition for Undead. All in all, I will say this card was not even that good to begin with, but they're nerfing it. So it used to be a 4-11, whenever a friendly minion is reborn, give your Undead +1/+3 permanently. By the way, if your minions will get sniped, for example, if you have a reborn summoner and gets sniped, you get the Eternal Knight and then you don't have space to reborn it, you don't even get any stats out of this, because the reborn never happened. So that's already kind of a flaw on this card. And now it's a 4-9, so -2 health on the base body. Which, to be fair, the base body was way too big, so I could see this. But they're also changing the effect. Whenever a minion is reborn, give your Undead +1/+2 permanently. Whether before it was +1/+3. And +1/+3 was nice, because it will give you a lot of stats, but like it will still get destroyed by elementals and Theotar comp, like proper scaling, because you wouldn't have any attack, so they will just value trade all your stuff over and over again and you will die. It was also really weak against poison, but beside that, so they nerfed it. At the same time, they kind of buffed this comp, because this now is reborn, so you can play them together. Before, it felt a little awkward to put these two cards in the same comp. But either way, like, the fact that this card gets a little better if you are lucky enough to get another 6-drop on top of your 6-drop doesn't seem that good. Like, this is a nerf. And I didn't like the card before, so I'll probably just stay away from this now. It seems kind of bad. Although, elementals also got nerfed, but I don't think that matters. I think this card is just maybe even unplayable now. Feels like a Kaligos to me. Now, what are the other changes? Soul Splitter was a Tavern 4 4/2, is now Tavern 5 5/2, and doesn't interact with the summoner anymore. So what does this actually do? You can only use it with an Ubrakan. It doesn't do anything else. Why is this on tier 5? Whatever. This change is pretty laughable to me. Obviously, you can also combine it with the Endless Forsaken, but that's such a niche interaction. It was only good once you had a million attack with an Ubrakan. I don't understand this nerf after you already gave Reborn to the Eternal Summoner. This doesn't really make sense to me. And then an Ubracan. To be fair, this, in my opinion, was the best card. Like, this was the whole reason to play Undead. No matter what Undead comp you were playing, you would want to have this card in your comp. It was on tier 5, it's now on tier 4. It used to be a 5-3, it's now a 4-3. Oh my god, they're even removing attack. Death Rattle, your Undead have +2 attack for the rest of the game. It's now Death Rattle, your Undead have +1 attack for the rest of the game. If you don't have a Tidus to go with it, it doesn't do anything. And even if you had the Titus, like, you still need to find a Soul Splitter, which is on tier 5. It seems so questionable. Like, sure, this thing is gonna happen every once in a blue moon. I feel like unless I don't have any other option, like, I wanna stay away from this as much as I can. That's what it feels like. Who knows? Hopefully it's better than it looks. And like, this was also a really, really important card for Sister Death Whisper to get some attack going. Eternal Night got nerfed to 3-1. I think that's the only reasonable nerf that you can give to this card, because if you make it a 3-drop, then Eternal Summoner just deals too much damage, right? Imagine losing to an Eternal Summoner comp. These are all 3-drops, like you take 40 damage at once and you're dead. And then Ghoul of the Feast, which is not really an undead card, but it is. It used to be Avenge 1, give a friendly minion of each type +3 attack, it now gives +2 attack. Maybe they could have made it Avenge 2, give +3 attack. Maybe that would have been a better nerf. Maybe they'll change it again in the future, because this card is super, super strong. They could have even made it tier 4. That's it for the nerfs. Not looking good for Undead. I will say you're not gonna see a lot of Undeads anymore, other than Summoners. We'll see how the meta develops after that change. Excited to learn the new meta, I suppose. And see you all around. Have a good one. Bye.